The sky above the alien patrol ship turned a strange red color. At first, they thought it was a natural phenomenon, maybe a solar flare or dust storm. But then the stars started disappearing, one by one. The crew looked up, confused. There was no sound, no warning, only silence. Commander Vale, a tall and proud officer of the Thurine species, stepped forward and ordered a scan of the area. The screen showed nothing, no readings, no signals, no ships, just emptiness. But everyone could feel that something was there, watching. Inside the ship, lights flickered, the air felt cold, technicians shouted, "Systems are failing." One by one, the ship's weapons went offline. The engines stopped working. The crew panicked, pressing buttons, trying to call for help, but the communication system was already dead. Commander Vale tried to stay calm, but even he could feel the fear rising. His voice was steady, but his eyes showed something else. "Secure the control room," he said, even though they all knew it was useless now. Then it happened. The sound of footsteps echoed inside the ship, but they didn't come from the crew. The steps were heavy and slow, like someone or something was walking without fear. A door opened by itself. The lights in the hallway went out. One of the soldiers aimed his weapon into the darkness. He fired once. Then he screamed. The scream was short, cut off like someone pressed mute. When they opened the hallway door again, there was no body. Just the rifle, lying on the floor, covered in blood. Vale ordered a retreat to the escape pods. But when they reached them, the pods were already missing. Someone had launched them or destroyed them. "This is not a raid," whispered one officer. "This is a message." And it was. On the main screen of the ship, a sentence appeared in glowing red letters written in their own language. "We were listening. Now it's our turn." Back on the Thurine homeworld, alarms began to sound in every military base. The high command gathered. In a panic, they watched the feed from the patrol ship. But the screen only showed static now. A general stood up and slammed his hand on the table. "It's Earth. It has to be humanity." Another official, old and calm, nodded slowly. "We've feared this. We've studied them. We thought they were emotional, broken, unorganized. But they've been silent for years. Too silent." Out. Day. The Thurine Alliance officially labeled Earth as a red-level threat, the highest warning in their system. It was a code they never used before. It meant attack without hesitation, no diplomacy, no negotiation. But it didn't matter anymore. Humans had already made the first move. By the time the Council voted on their response, 7 more patrol ships had gone dark. 5 listening stations were destroyed. No one had seen any human ships. But they all knew who was behind it. On Earth, no celebrations were shown on screens, no victory speeches. Just quiet control rooms filled with calm operators. A woman in a dark uniform looked at a map full of blinking red dots. Each dot was a silent, dead enemy ship. She smiled a little. "Phase 1 complete," she said. "They still don't understand what we are." In space, one last message from Earth played on every open channel across the galaxy. A human voice, clear and emotionless, spoke. "You classified us as primitive, as unstable, as unworthy of respect. But now you see us as a threat. You're right, but it's too late to stop us." Then the channel went dark. The Theran Empire, once proud and powerful, now faced a nightmare they never believed real. Humanity had been silent for a reason, not because they were weak, but because they were preparing. And now, the galaxy would learn what humans become when they are pushed too far. Years before the first human attack, something strange had started happening across the galaxy. No one noticed it at first. It was small, tiny shifts, little changes. A security officer went missing on a trade ship. A diplomat was found dead in his room with no signs of a break-in. Defense codes were changed without explanation. Everyone blamed system errors or internal spies. No one thought of Earth, not yet, but humanity had already begun its plan, after the first contact war. Earth realized something important. They were outnumbered. The galaxy was filled with powerful species, many older and stronger than humans. Some tried to control Earth, some ignored them, and some experimented on them. Humanity didn't forget. They didn't forgive, but they waited. They knew revenge would not come with loud weapons. It had to start with silence. That's when they began. Project Ghosta, secret operation to place human agents deep inside alien alliances. These agents trained for years. They learned alien languages, culture, and politics. Some even had surgery to change their appearance. They entered as workers, scientists, translators, and slaves. No one suspected anything. Why would they? Humans were seen as weak, emotional, unpredictable. The galaxy looked down on them, but Earth knew how to play the role of the weak. Now, with the first attacks in motion, those silent agents activated. On the capital planet of the Valeri Union, lights went out in the main power grid. Control systems failed. In the confusion, a human-looking guard stepped into the shadows and opened a secure vault. Inside, a virus spread through their command systems, stealing data and sending it back to Earth. On the other side of the galaxy, a diplomat in the track. Empire left a meeting early, walked into a hidden room, and sent a signal. 10 seconds later, a major military base exploded. The aliens were shocked. They didn't understand what was happening. How could their own people betray them? Who was feeding Earth this information? Well, they searched, arrested, and interrogated hundreds of suspects, but they found nothing. The humans had erased all signs. One Thurian general sat in a dark room, staring at a blinking screen. They were under our nose the whole time, he whispered. He studied us, and we let them in. In a hidden room far from Earth, 3 of the original human ghosts met for the first time in years. Their faces were calm, their voices cold. One of them, a man named Rhodes, said quietly, "It begins now. They still think we want peace. But we never forgot what they did to our kind, to our children." Another agent, a woman named Kale, nodded. "We walked among them. We saw what they truly are. They think they are superior. Let them feel fear now." As the agents disappeared into the shadows again, alien worlds started to realize a dark truth. Earth had been preparing this for decades. The humans didn't just attack. They knew exactly where to hit, who to silence, what systems to destroy. They had maps, names, secrets, all stolen quietly. Years ago, the Council of Galactic Peace, a group formed to stop wars, tried to call an emergency meeting. But the message didn't reach half its members. Their ships were already down. Their data wiped, their leaders missing. Across alien news channels, one question spread like fire. How did Earth get so far without us knowing? And the answer came from a leaked recording. A human agent, caught too late, had spoken 5 final words before ending his own life. "Because you never feared us." Back on Earth, the command room was silent. No joy, no pride, just focus. General watched a screen showing falling enemy strongholds. "This is only the start," he said. "The galaxy forgot we were human. They'll remember now." The stars were no longer safe. Trust was broken. No one knew who among them was truly loyal, and Earth's silence had finally ended not with noise, but with shadows. The alien generals met in secret. Their armies were falling. Their ships were vanishing. Whole colonies had gone silent. No battles were won, because there were no battles at all. Earth was attacking without being seen. Their spies were ghosts. Their weapons were invisible, and their minds far more dangerous than anyone believed. A new question now shook the galaxy. How were humans this powerful? The Thurian Council thought they had all the answers. They had studied Earth's history, war records, and technology. They believed humans were strong only when angry, but weak when alone. Their emotions made them unstable. They were passionate but unfit for long wars. That was the old belief. But now that belief was breaking. On a hidden world far beyond any star charts, Earth had created a secret lab. No government spoke of it. No map showed it. It was called Facility Zero. Here, Earth's real weapon was born. Not a ship, not a gun, but something living, something terrifying. They called it Project Minotaur. Inside the lab, scientists worked for years in silence. They took the best soldiers, the smartest minds, the fastest reflexes, and combined them into a new kind of warrior. These soldiers weren't grown, they were engineered. Their DNA was mixed with animal instincts, machine logic, and human rage. They felt no fear. They followed no orders except the mission. They looked human, but they were not. And now they had been released. The first Minotaur appeared on a jungle planet called Relkavar. Alien troops spotted a human walking alone in the forest. They laughed. One shouted, "Lost, human. This is not your war zone." The human didn't speak. He just raised his hand. Then everything changed. The sky turned dark. Communication signals jammed. Gun turrets failed. Within seconds, 20 soldiers were dead, ripped apart. Surveillance drones recorded only one image. The human walking calmly through the blood-soaked leaves, untouched. On 5 different planets, similar scenes played out. One soldier destroyed an entire bunker using only a blade. Another hacked into an orbital cannon and used it to wipe out a fleet from the ground. A third ran faster than scanners could track, killing without being seen. The Minotaurs had arrived. The galaxy panicked. These were not normal humans. Their eyes glowed in the dark. Their voices were cold. They never asked for mercy. One alien commander begged for surrender, offering full control of his city. The Minotaur leading the strike simply said, "You didn't offer mercy to our kind. You don't deserve it now." Back in the Thurine High Command, the truth hit like a meteor. "This is not just war," one admiral said. "This is vengeance. These are not soldiers. They are weapons in human skin." A few alien scientists tried to study the bodies left behind, but there were none. Minotaurs took their dead. No samples, no traces. Every move was calculated. Every kill was clean. Earth didn't send armies. They sent monsters. Yet even monsters have minds. One Minotaur, after completing his mission, stood in silence, looking at the stars. A captured alien officer asked, "Do you even feel anything?" The Minotaur turned his head slowly. "I feel memory," he said. "I remember what your kind did to us. You called us animals. So now we act like it." Word spread across the galaxy. The fear was no longer about human spies or secret codes. Now, it was about what humans had become. The old image of Earth was gone. In its place was a shadow, a nightmare, a whisper in every alien soldier's ear. If you see one human, run. If you see one smiling, it's already too late. And far above them, Earth watched in silence, sending no messages, no threats. Because the message was already written, in fire, fear, and blood. The Grand Council chamber on the planet Zareth used to be a place of peace and power. Here, the leaders of the 5 strongest alien empires met to make laws and prevent war. But now, the room was filled with fear. Sirens echoed across the city. Armed guards surrounded the building. For the first time in 200 years, the Emergency War Council had been called. The 5 high seats were filled, but the faces were not calm. General Sorrow of the Thurine Alliance slammed his fist on the table. "Earth is attacking us from the shadows. Our fleets are falling. Our systems are being hacked. Where is our response?" President Vil from the Volari Union looked pale. "We tried to fight them, but they knew our codes. Our own defense grids turned against us. We believe they have agents inside every major command center." Lord Rekoth of the Track Empire leaned back slowly. "This is impossible. Earth never had the resources. They were a minor world. It's barely above savage. How did they do this?" The room grew quiet. Then someone spoke softly from the far side of the table. "Because we underestimated them." It was Chancellor Helen of the Kalari Council, the oldest leader among them. She had warned them years ago when Earth first asked to join the Galactic Union. She had said no. She remembered Earth's past, its wars, its rage, its history of survival through destruction. Now, she stared at the others and said, "We invited the wrong enemy into our home." The council members shouted at each other. Some wanted full war, Others wanted surrender. A few believed it was already too late, but one thing they all agreed on: this was no longer just a military problem. It was a nightmare. Suddenly the lights in the chamber flickered. For a second, all the screens went black. Then a single word appeared in red, written in their own language: watching. The room froze. One guard shouted, "Protect the council." Others scanned the chamber for intruders. But there was no attack, just silence again. Then one of the council chairs, Chair 5, began to flicker. The holographic form of Grand Admiral Kale of the Zarn Dominion vanished. In his place stood a human, dressed in black, calm. His face was visible. His eyes were cold. "Good evening," the human said. Guards pointed weapons at the image, but "No one fired. You don't know me?" the man continued. "But I know all of you. I've sat at your tables, listened to your lies, watched your crimes. Earth offered peace. You gave us chains. We asked for respect. You gave us threats. We return the favor." General Soros stood up, his voice shaking with rage. "You will pay for this." The human tilted his head. "You already are," and the screen went black. In the next 10 seconds, across the galaxy, 7 major council buildings exploded. One after another, each was hit with perfect timing. Number: warning, no survivors. Only the chamber on Zareth was left untouched. For now, the council realized the truth in that moment. Earth was not trying to win battles. They were destroying command, crushing leadership, breaking trust. No one knew who was real anymore. In the hallway outside, a young guard named Turn watched. The chaos he had served for 10 years, trusted the system.
He didn't know what to believe.
As he walked down the corridor, he saw an officer standing still, whispering something into a small device. Their eyes met. The officer smiled. Turn stepped back. That smile, it was wrong. Suddenly, the officer pulled out a small detonator. Turin screamed, "Bomb!" The explosion shook the east wing. Smoke filled the sky. Medics rushed in. The 5th attack on Zareth in 2 days. And somewhere, far from that planet, the same human from the council broadcast stood in a dark room with other agents. He didn't smile. He didn't speak. He just nodded. Another piece of the galaxies. Leadership had been broken. Earth wasn't just fighting a war. They were ending the system that allowed aliens to rule, for humans like pets. And now every council member knew the last war had already begun. The skies over Delcar Prime, the capital world of the Thurine Alliance, turned black without warning. Thick clouds rolled in, but there was no storm, no rain, just silence. People looked up from streets and towers, confused. Then the clouds began to flash red, then white, then red again. Not lightning, not natural. It was a signal. Inside the main defense center, alarms screamed. Commander Urin shouted orders. Shields up. All ships in the air. Prepare ground defenses. His team scrambled to obey. Everyone knew what this was. It was Planetfall Protocol, the highest threat response. The protocol was designed for mythical threats, things that were never supposed to be real. Now it was happening. Satellites tried to scan the incoming ships, but found nothing. Radar systems saw only shadows. The sky was full, yet empty. Then came the sound, deep, low, like thunder under the ground. It wasn't coming from above. It was coming from beneath their feet. The ground trembled. Across the cities of Delcar Prime, buildings shook. People screamed and ran. Cracks opened in roads. Explosions hit military bases not from missiles, but from inside. Command bunkers, weapon vaults, power plants all destroyed from within. It wasn't an invasion, it was an execution. Above the Capitol Tower, a single dark ship appeared. Its shape was unlike anything they had seen. Smooth, silent, shaped like a spear. It didn't fire, it didn't need to, it simply hovered there. Watching Commander Urin stared at it through the control room window. "No response to hails," his officer said. "All codes ignored. It's like they don't care." Then a voice echoed through the city. Not from speakers, not from radios, but directly into their minds. You watched us burn, and we watch you fall. People screamed. Soldiers collapsed. The message had come using direct neural frequencies, something only Earth had been working on, something the aliens said was impossible. They were wrong. From the forests outside the city, shadows moved fast, too fast for cameras. The human drop teams hit the ground. Not large groups, just small squads. But every squad struck like a storm. No wasted bullets, no missed shots. Silent, brutal, clean. The Therine soldiers tried to fight back. Tanks rolled into the streets. Drones flew overhead. But within minutes their own systems betrayed them. Turrets turned on friendly troops. Missiles exploded in their launchers. The humans had already hacked everything. Commander, Iran watched helplessly as the main defense grid collapsed. This can't be happening, he said. We are the strongest empire in the galaxy. Then he heard the door behind him open. He turned. One human stood there, alone, wearing simple black armor. His face was calm, his eyes cold. Urine growled. You dare come alone? The human stepped forward. This isn't a war, Commander. It's a lesson. What lesson? Out, Urine shouted. The human raised a small device and pressed a button. All lights in the room died. A red light blinked above. The screen showed nothing but the human's face. The lesson, he said, is that you should have listened when we offered peace. Then he vanished into smoke. Moments later, the tower exploded. Across Delcar Prime, alien forces began to retreat. But there was nowhere safe. Every escape ship was destroyed before takeoff. The dark spear ship in the sky still had not fired. A single weapon, but its message was clear. You are not in control anymore. In an underground shelter, a child asked her father, Are they going to kill us all? The father held her close, shaking. I don't know. Above them, Earth's soldiers planted a black flag on the steps of the burned tower. No logo. No symbols. Just a simple phrase in white letters. We remember. No human leaders appeared on screen. No list of demands. Silence said enough. The invasion wasn't about territory. It was about justice. And for the first time in galactic history, the galaxy's strongest world had fallen without a real battle. The message echoed in every corner of space. If Earth can do this to Delcar Prime, who's next? On a cold, hidden moon near the edge of Therine space, a secret research facility burned. Flames climbed into the black sky. Screams echoed through underground halls. Soldiers ran for their lives. But it wasn't Earth's army destroying them. It was their past. Years ago, before Earth became a threat, the Alien Alliance had taken thousands of human children. The excuse was protection, but in truth it was something darker. The Council feared the potential of human evolution. They saw strength in Earth's genetics, especially in children born after Earth's first space wars. So, without asking, they stole the young. Some were taken from villages, others from war zones, some from orphan homes. None were returned. Inside those labs they experimented. They tried to change their minds, tried to control them, tried to turn them into tools. But humans don't forget, and some children survived. Now they were no longer children. One by one, they returned not as victims, but as weapons. Leading Earth's advanced units were these forgotten ones. Now adults trained in both human warfare and alien tech. They knew how both sides thought. They knew every weakness. And most of all, they were angry. In the ruins of the burning lab, a tall figure walked slowly through smoke and fire. His face was calm, but his eyes were full of pain. On his arm was a brand of scar given to him as a child during testing, symbol of the Track Empire. His name was Nico, but in Earth's new military he was called Ghostblade. A captured alien scientist begged for mercy. We were only following orders, he cried. Ghostblade said nothing. He just stared at the man for a moment, then whispered, So were we. The scientist's scream was short. Across the galaxy, other facilities like this were being wiped out. No trial, no warning. Earth had sent a message. We know what you did. We know well. And we're not here to forgive. At one facility, cameras caught a recording before the power was cut. A woman in dark armor stood in front of a research team. Her voice was soft, but her words sharp like a knife. "You took us from our families," she said. "You tried to turn us into your weapons, so we became something worse." Then she raised her hand, and everything went black. Back on Earth, many didn't even know about the stolen children. Only top-level commanders knew the truth. It had been kept secret for decades. But now, those secrets were being revealed by blood news spread fast. Entire planets started questioning the Council. Protests turned violent. Citizens asked, "Did we really do this to Earth's children?" And when they found the answer, they knew Earth's war was not about conquest. It was personal in a secret meeting room. The last remaining members of the Thuran High Council argued. "They're monsters," one growled. "No," another said slowly, his voice shaking. "We made them monsters." Some still wanted to fight. Some wanted to surrender. But one voice cut through the noise. A young officer, half Thuran, half human, stood and said, "You stole their childhoods. And now you're shocked they don't show mercy?" Silence filled the room. Somewhere far from that world, Nika Ghostblade stood at the edge of a cliff, staring at a broken alien statue. His team stood behind him, silent. One asked, "What now, Commander?" Nico closed his eyes. He remembered the cold labs, the pain, the lies. He opened his eyes again. "We finish what they started," he said. "And then, maybe we find peace." Above him, human ships moved through the stars like silent blades, and across the galaxy. Everyone finally understood. Earth didn't come for glory. They came for the children, and now the children were home. High Marshal Drell sat alone in his war chamber, eyes fixed on the glowing screen in front of him. The data was clear. The enemy wasn't slowing down. Earth's forces were taking planet after planet without mercy. Their soldiers didn't rest. Their ships didn't stop. Their message didn't change, but something wasn't right. He had been part of the Council for over 50 years. He had seen many wars, many enemies. But this human storm was different, too precise, too personal, and too silent. No demands, no warnings, only destruction. And every time Earth hit the same kinds of targets, labs, old military, vaults, and certain Council-controlled planets.
Why?
Drell ordered his AI assistant to open Class 7 archives files only the highest ranks could access. It required multiple passcodes and a biometric scan. The files hadn't been touched in decades. But when they opened, the truth hit him like a punch to the chest. Earth wasn't the threat. The Council was. Drell's hands shook as he read the records. Secret programs run by the Galactic Union, black labs hidden across neutral space. Human. Children used for illegal testing, genetic farming, emotional control trials, brain chip experiments. And worst of all, the files were signed by his own leaders. It wasn't Earth who broke the treaty. It was the Alliance. For years, they had hidden their crimes behind the lie of protection. When Earth started rising, when humans began pushing forward, the Council felt threatened, so they created fear. They labeled humans as unstable, violent, dangerous, and then they made sure the rest of the galaxy believed it. Red level threat. The highest danger rating was supposed to be rare, used only for planet killers or madness level viruses. But Earth got the label because of one thing: fear. The Council feared what humans might become if left alone, so they acted first and lied about it. Drell leaned back in his chair. The galaxy wasn't fighting an evil enemy. They were fighting victims turned into warriors, victims who remembered everything. He stood and called his closest team. "We need to release this information," he said. "The people must know the truth." But he never got the chance. Before he reached the communication chamber, 3 of his own guards blocked his way. One raised a weapon. "Orders from above, sir." "You know too much." Drell stared at them. "You're killing the future." "No," the guard said coldly. "We're protecting the system." A single shot echoed through the hall. "High Marshal." Drell fell. His death was reported as an enemy assassination. But a security officer named Vexa, who saw everything, escaped with the files. She sent them through a hidden channel to neutral media hubs. Within hours, the truth spread like wildfire. The files were real. The lies were exposed. People across the galaxy rose in rage. Protests turned into riots. Military forces refused to fight. Whole planets declared independence from the Council. And across space, one question shook every system. Were the humans right all along? On a dark station near Earth's War Command, a young officer handed the news report to Ghostblade. "They know now," she said. He read the headlines. "Alien. Alliance lied humans targeted by design." Another one said, "Redemption or revenge? Earth's war now justified." Ghostblade didn't smile. He just nodded once. "Let them fight among themselves. We'll watch them crumble." In deep space, a once loyal Theran commander now led a fleet against his own people, declaring his shame and asking Earth for a meeting. The Council tried to stop him, but too many were listening now. The voice of truth was louder than ever. One final message from Earth played across all channels, simple and direct. "You feared us? You hunted us. You lied to your own people to destroy us. You called us monsters, but we didn't start this. You did, and now you will feel everything we felt." The war had changed. It was no longer just between Earth and the Council. It had become a galaxy on fire, burning with guilt, betrayal, and the unstoppable force of justice coming from the planet once called weak. Humanity not only survived the lies, they had turned them into a weapon. The planet Zelen was quiet, but not afraid. While other worlds surrendered or ran from Earth's advance, Zelen prepared to fight, not because they believed they could win, because they believed in something different. Honor, the people of Zelen had no part in the Council's crimes. They rejected the red-level threat label. They had refused to test human children, but still, they were part of the Alliance. And when Earth's Black Fleet was spotted in orbit, they knew they wouldn't be spared. Governor Cillian stood on the wall of the capital city, staring at the sky. His people had trained day and night for weeks. They knew Earth would come, and they chose not to beg for mercy. "If they want justice," he said to his generals, "let them see we won't hide. We don't fear the truth, but we won't bow to blood." Deep above in orbit, Earth's command ship hovered silently. Ghostblade watched the planet on his screen. His strike teams were ready, ships armed. Orders given, but this time something was different. No council symbols, no fear signals, no running citizens. Instead, Earth received a message: "We are not your enemy, but we will not run. We will stand." It was the first time in the entire war that a planet spoke without lies or weapons. Earth's command room fell silent. Officers looked at Ghostblade, waiting. "What do we do?" someone asked. Ghostblade didn't answer at first. He stared at the message, then closed his eyes. He remembered the labs, the screams, the cold cages. But he also remembered something else a teacher, long ago, telling him that not everyone in the galaxy was evil. Some simply followed without knowing. He opened his eyes. "Send the ground team," he said. "But no attacks unless fired upon." A dropship descended slowly onto Zealand's surface. Dust blew into the air. Soldiers stepped out, none minotaurs this time, but standard infantry, armed but calm. At the same time, Zealand's warriors came. Forward, they didn't shoot. They didn't hide. They stood in full armor, his eyes steady. Then something happened that hadn't happened since the war began. A Zelonian and a human shook hands, all over the planet. Both sides watched. No one moved. No one fired. Governor Cillian walked up to the human commander. "We cannot undo what the Council did, but we can break from it. Help us do that." Back in orbit, Ghostblade watched the scene from a live feed. He said nothing for a long time. Finally, he gave the order. "Stand down. Zelen will not burn." The galaxy shook again, but this time, not from war, from hope. Other planets saw what happened on Zelen and followed. Some rebelled against the Council. Others opened communication lines with Earth. The tide had turned. The war wasn't just destruction anymore. It was becoming something new, a choice. Later that night, on the surface of Zelen, A human soldier named Ray sat beside a Zelenian scout. They shared food, water, and silence. "Did you lose anyone?" the alien asked. Ray nodded. "My brother, one of the taken." The scout looked away. "I'm sorry," Ray didn't reply. After a moment, he spoke softly. "Some say we became monsters. Maybe we did, but some monsters still dream." Above them, stars shined over a world that refused to die in shame. And back on Earth, in the command center, Ghostblade removed his armor. He stood before a map of the galaxy once full of red warning lights. Now more than half were blinking blue, neutral or allied. He whispered, "They finally see us. The war wasn't over. We're still enemies, still secrets, still scars. But Earth had done the impossible. They made the galaxy listen. They made the guilty afraid, made the innocent brave. And now, for the first time, humanity wasn't just a red-level threat. They were a force of truth. A mirror showing the galaxy what it had become, and a warning of what happens when you push a kind species too far. The final words broadcast from Earth said it all. "We came for justice. We taught us pain. We answered with strength. Now, choose your side." With that, the war entered its final phase, not of fire, but of choice.